Well, good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening. My name is Willie Lawson. This is the Morning Report. The Morning Report is a production of FightbackMedia.com, 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 and FightbackMediaTV.com. Hope that you are well. I am sure by now you have heard that former President Trump had an attempt placed on his life on Saturday at about 6:10 in Butler, Pennsylvania. He was at a rally there, huge rally, especially after the Doral rally, fantastically large rally, and at about 6:10 he had just started. The reports are 5 to 8 shots rang out, and one of the shots reportedly, or it's also a story that part of the glass from the teleprompter nicked the president's right ear and caused a lot of bleeding, and he went down, and I'm going to show you the clip if you haven't seen it, and this is what happened. It's crazy. It really is. Now we're going to talk about today how I think we should react and behave, and this is tough. It's going to be very, very difficult for you, but I want to go ahead and play the clip for you. If you're squeamish, yeah, just fast forward. If you're squeamish, just fast forward.
And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Move to the spare. Hold. When you're ready. On you.
Ready?
Move.
Up.
Move. Go.
Up. Hawkeye's here.
Hawkeye's here. Move it to the spare.
Spare, get ready. Spare, get ready.
We ready?
Shooters down. Shooters down.
Are we good?
Shooters down.
Shooters down. Are we good to move?
Shooters down. We're good to move.
We're clear.
We're
Let's
clear.
move.
We're
Let's
clear.
move.
We're clear.
Come on.
Let me get my shoes.
I got you, sir. I got you, sir.
Let me get my shoes.
Hold that in your head. It's bloody.
So we got to move to the bus. Move to the bus. Let me get my shoes.
Okay. My shoes down. Get the shoe.
Watch out.
Wait.
And let me be unequivocal about something. This is a security failure of epic, historic proportions. That there was some type of explosive noise. The former president had to be tackled and taken off stage by a Secret Service with blood appearing to come from his head. That a crowd of thousands at a presidential rally had to hit the ground, some of them colliding with each other, equipment falling on their heads and our heads at one point. No matter what this ends up being, this was a security failure at an event that is secured by the U.S. Secret Service and any number of other law enforcement agencies where everybody in the space had to be screened and wanted by metal detectors and officers. It's just calamitous as a failure.
So as you could tell, a horrific, horrifying, terrifying scene there in Butler, Pennsylvania. You saw the president grab for his ear, and then you heard several more pops, and yeah, and then we knew that this was happening. Fortunately, the president, as far as we know, that's the only injury the president sustained. There are reports that he might have been hit again, but he was probably wearing a flak jacket, because there are pictures of him with on Twitter with a hole in his suit jacket, or what seems to be a hole or a tear. we don't know what that came from. We don't know if it's when he went down and his things just got torn. We don't know. And of course, we will be following this story until its logical conclusion, and we'll be able to report later what that hole was. If indeed it was a big deal, it may or may not have been a big deal, but we're going to find out. But today, again, we're going to talk about, we are blessed, we are beyond blessed that President Trump was not more injured than he actually was. A lot, from where you can see, had he turned his head a little bit more to the right, he might have been hit. He might have been hit right in the forehead, and it would have been a much different story right now, and we'd be living in a much different world than we are currently. So we are thankful to God that was not the case. The incident resulted in, as far as we know, one person being injured and another person being mortally wounded, who was actually hit in the head with one of the shots. The shooter has been killed and was killed there on the scene. This was interesting. This part was interesting, and it's going to cause a lot of questions and a lot of controversy. But I'll play an interview with somebody who saw the shooter and was trying to get law enforcement to do something about it.
And watch and listen to the rally, right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea, But we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. He's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for 2-3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling police in the Secret Service.
We were telling the police. We were pointing at him for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? This is not a big place.
Did you see, obviously everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh, yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay, just be careful because we don't quite know who's watching, but you're pretty sure they shot the guy?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof. They had their guns pointed at him, make sure he was dead. He was dead, and that was it. It was over.
So the immediate question is, how in the heck could this have happened? Now, this shooter was not inside the rally, so they didn't sneak a gun inside the rally. I know that I was watching one of the news channels before something said, "Stop it, go to Right Side Broadcasting and listen to them." Talked about possibly that somebody had a plastic weapon or some sort of non-ferrous weapon, and they were able to sneak it in. But as it turned out, the person who was the shooter was not in the rally. The person was about 100 yards away, outside the rally on a roof. Now, why? Was because it was was up high. Now, the question is, this place was close enough to where how did the Secret Service not secure that particular location that was overlooking the rally? That's the question. Now, and that's the only question I have at this point, other than what's the prognosis of the president, and if he's okay, is he going to be at the Republican National Convention on Monday? That's the only questions I have. I think the first one is an important question. Why wasn't that building secured? Because all that does is lead to more conspiracy. It leads to more of that stuff. Can they just say it was? Can they just come out and say it was a mistake? And what might have been a fatal mistake for at least one of the rally goers was a fatal mistake. It cost that person their life, and it might have cost the ex-president his life too. So the thing is, they can't make mistakes. It's an impossible job, and you can't screw it up. And I understand that, but it is the job that you wanted. It is the job that you asked God for. So you can't screw it up. You can't. Now, there were a couple of reactions to this event that I'm also going to play for you, and I want you to write down in the comments what you think about both of them.
Only by the grace of God was Donald Trump's life spared today. You know, so much has fomented this kind of anger where a gunman in broad daylight would crawl a wall with bystanders watching it, yelling to law enforcement, someone's crawling a wall with a shotgun, and it was totally ignored. And then minutes later, 5 shots rang out. They're saying that the president was cut by glass. Who knows? We'll eventually get to the truth. But all we know today is as security forces that we have with security, with Secret Service and every other law enforcement agency you can think of at these rallies, someone was able to scale a roof to attempt an assassination on the President of the United States. Someone else was shot at that rally. We prayed for their families. I mean, this hatred, this divisiveness, this image of what has been created of what Donald Trump is only fuels this for someone to go out and do these things. It must be mentally deranged, but look at the chaos. I mean, Donald Trump and this country and the people today are deserving of our prayers. No one is deserving of this. Donald Trump, Joe Biden, we need to lower our voices. We need to come together because this is only indicative that America is coming apart at the seams. I just thank God for his grace and mercy today in sparing the life of the former president, because it was only his grace and mercy is the reason why Donald Trump is alive today. I'm Armstrong Williams.
Thanks for coming, folks. I've been thoroughly briefed by all the agencies in the federal government as to the situation, based on what we know now. I have tried to get a hold of Donald. He's with his doctors. Apparently he's doing well. I plan on talking to them shortly, I hope, when I get back to the telephone. Look, there's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this. And I want to thank the Secret Service and all the agencies, including the state agencies, that have been engaged in making sure that people and we have more detail to come relative to other people maybe injured in the audience. I don't have all that detail. We'll make that available to you. I may be able to come back a little later tonight, but we'll put out a statement if I'm not able to if it's not convenient for you all. But the bottom line is that the Trump rally was a rally that he should have been able to be conducted peacefully without any problem. But the idea that there's political violence or violence in America like this is just unheard of. It's just not appropriate. Everybody must condemn it. Everybody. I'll keep you informed, and if I'm able to speak to Donald, I'll let you know that as well. So far, it appears he's doing well, number one. Number two, that they're thoroughly investigating what happened to anyone else in the audience. We have some reports, but not final reports. And every agency in the federal government, I'm going back to my phone to speak with the federal agencies that are being put together again to give me an updated briefing. Has anything happened? They learned any more in the last couple hours. So thank you very much, and I hope I get to speak to them tonight, and I'll get back to you if I do. Okay?
Mr. President, do you think this was an assassination attempt?
I don't know enough to. I have an opinion, but I don't have any facts. So I want to make sure we have all the facts before I make any more comments. Thank you.
Are you worried for President safety? With the security failing, Mr. President?
Hi, I'm back. The first person was a gentleman by the name of Armstrong Williams. At the Republican National Convention in 2016, I got a chance to. In 2012, I actually got a chance to meet Armstrong. He was on Radio Row when the convention was here in Tampa. The convention this year is in Milwaukee and starts on Monday. And people are wondering, will the president be there to accept his nomination for the third time? And as far as information that we have now, yes, he will be there to accept his nomination. We shall see. Like I said before, there was someone who was injured, and there was also somebody else who was killed. So if you can put those comments between Armstrong Williams and the president in context when you're talking about a person that was murdered tonight. We have a clip of an emergency room doctor who was on scene, who saw the person that was killed.
Honor, that's exactly where I heard him come from.
What did you see, sir?
I heard the shots. I thought it was firecrackers to begin with. Somebody over there was screaming, he's been shot. So I made my way over. I said, I'm an emergency department physician. Let me help you. The guy had spun around, was jammed between the benches. He had a headshot here. There was lots of blood, and he had brain matter there. And so I got him. There's a helicopter coming in to get him. I got people there really helpful. I got
Was
him
there only
up
one
on the
person
bench.
shot that you saw?
Then I did CPR, did chest compressions as well as I breathed for him.
One person?
I was the only one that did
We
it.
need to evacuate everybody.
So now we have to talk about this heated divisiveness, especially when it comes to Donald Trump. I already saw a Democrat lawmaker blame the ultra MAGA for creating this atmosphere. As a person I'm on the right, I guess. You can review my videos and my podcast, and then you can make that decision. I don't think so. I'm not listening to the rhetoric, and it is the rhetoric, unfortunately, of violence coming from the right. As a matter of fact, right now it is, because I waited as long as I could, it is 1:15 midnight on Sunday, and I've not heard one report of any rioting, any burning, any looting. I've not heard one report that people from the Heritage Foundation who wrote Project 2025 are out there in the streets tearing crap up. So let's be real. It isn't the right now that has this history of violence. It isn't. It most certainly is not. It is the left that has the history and the rhetoric of violence. And I think there are always people who are just on the edge, who take all of the rhetoric for real, and then they feel like they have to act on it sometimes. And if that's the case, this is when we get what we've gotten. Folks, what needs to happen now is prayer and supplication, and definitely pray for our nation. Pray for the health of Donald J. Trump and the safety of him and his family going forward. And pray for the health of President Biden. You know, he's still running the country. You don't want that dude to go down right now. You know why? Because you got Kamala Harris. I mean, now, whatever's propping out President Biden, y'all just keep feeding it to him, all right? He can't go down. He can't get sick. He can't get COVID. He can't get a cold. He can't get a hangnail. Okay? Don't let that dude get a hangnail. Or an ingrown toenail. Nothing. Nothing. Because if he can't go, then you've got Kamala Harris, and that's much worse. Much worse. Well, I hope I was able to bring you some information, because I'm sure you've heard all sorts of things, but we waited and we put this show together to make sure that you got the up-to-date, correct information on the shooting. Now, on Monday, now chances are we won't be here unless something changes big time. We won't be back here on Sunday, but we'll be back here on Monday to sort of wrap up what happened on the weekend. We got to get out of here and make room for somebody else. So until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, you take care of yourself. We will see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.